She already knows that it's video time. Don't ya? Stealing my damn chair, like always. Ready to do this? You ready to talk with Mama? You ready to have a conversation? Hello everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about why it's important for you to train your cattle dog with not only voice commands but also hand signals. So cattle dogs, as I've said previously in another video, they're a pretty healthy breed. They don't normally get too many health issues, but that's not to say that they don't get them at all. Like, I mean, I've got one that's actually got liver failure. I mean, things can happen, but overall they're pretty healthy. But one of the things that they are prone to is going blind or deafness. They can be born with it, or it can gradually happen over time. So that's why I stress that when you're training your puppy, if you're bringing a new puppy home, you should use hand signals along with the voice commands. Now, I know most people seem to do this anyway. I see a lot of people using hand signals, but I also see a good majority that don't use hand signals. And then when their dog is older and it starts losing its hearing or going blind, it's a little bit harder to do the training. So when I first got Silver over 14 years ago, I didn't seem to find a lot of information about cattle dogs, but one of the main things that I kept seeing online was that they were prone to going blind. And one site actually said that, you know, the discoloration that you can see sometimes at night in their eyes, like turning green or blue, could be a sign that in the future they could go blind. And I wasn't sure if that had any truth to it or not, but she did eventually go blind the older she got. But even back then I was very concerned, like, how do I prep for this for her, like if this were to happen to her. So I started doing hand signals back then, and some of the hand signals I use, some dog trainers do use the same ones, some don't. Like in our household for sit, we point that way. You ain't gonna see what I'm doing, but you know, we point forward and kind of step forward with it, but it's not this way, it's like downward towards the dog. But I see some other people use a hand signal of like where they stick their index finger and do that for sit, which we do like that for stand, and like, yeah, we just do different things. But so you can decide what hand signals you want to use. I know there's different variations, but there's also some that are very similar. But I do suggest doing hand signals while you're doing the voice command. So when you say sit, do the, not this, don't, you get what I mean. You do it downward, like, or whatever you choose to do. Just make sure you're using the hand signal when you're giving the voice command. We were lucky because Silver started going blind when she was 7. So we had time to make sure that we were doing extra training with her. Some of the extra things we started doing, besides already doing hand signals with the commands that we were giving her, was we started doing things like step, which that was to warn her when a step was coming up. And even though she could still see at the time, and she was only like, only one eye was blind, I wanted to make sure that when or if she went blind in the other eye, step was something that she would remember. So I would tap on the step with my foot or my hand, depending on the situation, and just say it. So if she went blind, she would know steps are coming up. And we would also start saying things like careful if she would bump into something. Like, I mean, it was a very slow process because it took 2 years before she went completely blind. But just little things like that helped out into training her to make her life more comfortable when she did finally lose her sight. And like I said, different dog trainers do different hand signals. I've seen different things, but it's mostly all the same kind of stuff. But I mean, you could definitely choose what hand signals you use for your dog on your own. You don't have to use exactly what other people use. And if you don't want to do hand signals at all when you give a voice command, that's totally up to you. But I highly recommend it, especially when it comes to cattle dogs, because you never know what's going to happen later in life for them. And for the people out there that say blind dogs can't live full and healthy lives, I'm sorry, you're full of crap. Because I've had people tell me, like, as soon as she went blind, well, you need to put her down. And it's like, the hell I do? Like, she's my baby girl. So she is gonna be 15 in October this year, and she's been half blind or completely blind like half her life, and she's been doing exceptionally well. Like, I still remember the first day when she went blind. We could tell she woke up and her other eye just totally went out, and she was terrified, and she was up there on the landing with the steps, and we told her step, and thankfully she remembered it, and she stepped very slowly her first time, but she navigates around the house perfectly. The last couple months she hasn't been because she's had some other health issues started. But for the last, what, 5 years, 3 to 5 years, she's navigated beautifully around the house. She still went for walks with us, and you know, blind dogs are amazing. Like, just, they pick up on smells and sounds and vibrations in their feet. You can tell when she's outside, she's feeling around on the grass and stuff, and she still has no problem doing tricks today. Silver, can I bug you for a minute? Do you want to come do some tricks for mommy? Yeah? Do you want to come out? Do you want to come out and get some cookies? Do some trick training with mommy? Come on, Boo Bear. Come on, let's get cookies. I know, you found the one I dropped. Silver, Silver. Can you sit? What a good girl. Good girl. Can you give Paul? Give Paul. I can't do this holding the camera. Sit. There you go. Good girl. Down. Crawl. Crawl, crawl, crawl. Good girl, good girl. So I used to be able to dance and do other stuff too, but my arthritis in my back legs makes that a little bit difficult, huh? Yeah. Silver, sit. Can you speak? Speak. Louder. Speak. Speak. Good girl. Good girl. The other blind one. Be easy. Oh, easy, easy. There you go. You can have the rest, buddy. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Good job, sweetie. Good job. So not only training your dog the normal commands, just talking to your cattle dog, I mean, they pick up on words like you wouldn't believe. Like, they know English by the time they're seeing your dog. So like saying stuff like step, step, or careful, or look out, or whatever sentence we use, she knows. Like, she's picked it up enough to remember the phrasing of things, even though we never got to show her physically what we were talking about. She knows. Like, she's a super smart dog. They're all super smart dogs. But there's just little tips and tricks you can do, like even wearing like an anklet with bells on it, kind of like a belly dancer kind of anklet. That way they can hear you through the house. Some dogs will, I've seen people with the metal harness thing around the head. Well, it's not a harness around the head. It's like a metal ring to help them to not really slam into things, or if they do bump into something, they don't injure themselves, because if the dog still has their eyes and you didn't do the eye removal surgery, it can actually hurt its own eye. Like if it bumps into something and damage its eye. But Silver is just way too stubborn for that. We even tried putting a harness on her for walks because somebody suggested that blind dogs do better with a harness when you're taking them for a walk, and she threw a complete conniption fit and actually pulled it off herself, and we even tightened it again and she pulled it off again. So you have to know your dog and have to figure out what works best for your dog, and for them to be able to navigate well through their household, and even when you do take them out. Definitely start young with hand signals and voice commands. And the earlier you can do training, the better. I always say you can start training your cattle dogs around 8 to 12 weeks. I mean, they start picking stuff up instantly. I mean, don't like super train them when they're 8 weeks, because they're puppies. They're gonna be sleepy little floofers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, the notification dingy bell thing, all the buttons, and we'll see you later. Bye.